Welcome to Mansfield Matters, your home for all things stats.
Craig's at the mic, his passion's bright, with metaphors you can't ignore, and anagrams that make us groan till everyone starts to moan.
Who is Randy Once?
We're the Mansfield Matters crew, making podcasts just for you. Some show up, some disappear, but the Stags bring us all here. Through the ups and downs we stay, talking Mansfield Town every day. Where's Nathan gone? He's never on. The blind Stag's late, not gonna wait. Cam's watching Hollyoaks again. He's useless anyway. Let's just begin. We're the Mansfield Matters crew, making podcasts just for you. Some show up, some disappear, but the Stags bring us all here. Through the ups and downs we stay, talking Mansfield Town every day. And now, introducing the world's greatest announcer. Alan brings the joy and light, while Clive keeps sense in sight. Nick's got shirts for every day. Jim's our super sub. Hey, hey! The chat rolls on. Your prediction. We give match reports and witty retorts, while Craig reads questions from his list that leave us all feeling pretty miffed. Time's almost up. Done! We're the Mansfield Matters crew, making podcasts just for you. Some show up, some disappear, but the Stags bring us all here. Through the ups and downs we stay, talking Mansfield Town every day. That's all for this week. Probably-ish.
The secret to a good book is not to judge it by its cover or its blurb, but to judge it by its opening chapter. Do you keep turning the page? Are you interested in the foundations of the story that's been set? And ultimately, will you answer yes to the question, should I keep reading? Well, are you answering yes to should I keep reading the story of Mansfield Town's season in Sky Bet League 1 after 11 games? It was a very tedious link, but let's be honest, we've had far worse. Look, Reading and Reading are spelt the same, alright. Right, we'll never win an award. The Stags did draw 1-1 at Reading at the weekend and now have a international break. So I thought that would be a great time to use the analogy closing the chapter. And to be fair, the opening chapter of Mansfield Town's Sky Bet League 1 story says, played 11, won 4, drawn 3, lost 4. Sitting 12th in the table with 15 points to their name. To be honest, I want to keep reading. I want to see what the story lies ahead for Mansfield Town. So that is exactly what we're going to discuss on the Mansfield Matters podcast tonight. Are you happy with how things are going so far, even against the odds, with players missing left, right and centre? Is there more to come from the Stags? And will this season end with a cliffhanger, leaving you wanting more next time around? That's enough with the book analogies. For now, welcome to the Mansfield Matters podcast. We have definitely had worse analogies than that on the Mansfield Matters podcast. Hello, good evening and welcome to the Mansfield Matters podcast, the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Because Mansfield always matters. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday evening. Why Tuesday, Craig? You're messing with my week. Thursday is the day that I sit down and watch Mansfield Matters on the telly with all my family. Well, we haven't got a game this weekend, so we thought we'd get it out of the way and we can all just relax and turn our brains off Mansfield for a couple of days. And we can work on some additional content to persuade you guys to maybe vote for us at the Football Content Awards. Speaking of which, the link that you need for that is in the description. We'd really like you to vote for us for Best Football League Podcast. Voting closes on Sunday, so get voting. I've already voted, Craig, yes, but you can vote as many times as you want. Tell your friends. Make it a 3 times a day thing. Every time you make a cup of tea, vote Mansfield Matters while the kettle boils. Right. More on that later on. Let's get on with the show, shall we? And introduce you to our fine fettle of guests talking all things Mansfield Town this evening. Let's say hello and welcome to the voice of One Call Stadium. It's Mr. Alan Wilson. Evening, Al.
Good evening, Craig. Good evening, everybody.
Let's say hello and good evening and welcome to the man who sometimes plays the part of Mr. Grumpy on the podcast, but actually has just got dry wit and just brings a different dimension to the podcast. It's Mr. Clive Parkin. Evening, Clive.
Good evening, Craig. Hello, everybody. And I'm not grumpy.
No, sometimes, but no, it's the part you play. Just like Jim's our super sub, hey, hey. It's in the lyrics. And a man who's not watching Hollyoaks again, but he's still useless anyway. Hello, Cameron.
Hang on. Sorry, I've muted myself. I've done a you.
Sod him. No, I'm not having. No, if he can't behave, then if he can't get it right early doors, then just I'm not having it. Right. Oh, I suppose I've got to have him in now because I've done this fancy layout thing, haven't I? There you go. Right. As always, come and have your say on your team. In the comments below, let us know what you want to talk about tonight. We'll talk about anything Mansfield Town if you like, because I haven't written any notes whatsoever about tonight's show. That's how prepared I am. Because, what is the motto of Mansfield Matters? Fake it until you make it. Right. Let's start by looking back on Saturday, shall we? A 1-1 draw away at Reading, Cam. And to be honest, I think we'd have probably taken that before kickoff, wouldn't we?
Yeah, considering they were one of the teams that took 6 points off us last season. Beat us between Christmas and New Year at their place. And then absolutely trounced us at our place towards the tail end of last season. So, all things considered, we're probably some people are probably a little bit disappointed we didn't win it because we had the chances to win it. And I'd have took a draw. I said 1-1, so I got good podcast points this week.
Well, that's as long as you're happy. What else matters? Clive, I think we would very happy to take a point away from Reading. Although, to be fair, we were probably good value for all three for the majority of the game.
Yeah, we'd have certainly taken the score line before the game. I do feel a little bit let down because I thought we were worth a win. But that's the way things go. We've not had a lot of luck so far, and that was another example of where we just needed something to go in our direction.
Yeah, we did. An unchanged lineup for that one, Alan. And we were sort of talking on last week's podcast, weren't we, about whether or not Clough would throw Ryan Sweeney in and sort of rest up Dave. But Dave had such a good game the previous week. It would have been harsh to drop him. And I think he's happy just to build his fitness up by just playing, not training, just play.
It was certainly quality again, weren't it? It was nice to see, to be honest, obviously with the injuries that we've got at this present time, it was nice to see the same team, that did so well the week before. And fair play to Nigel for that, whether Sweens was fit or able to come back or not. But, we should have won. Let's be fair, we should have won. But like you said, 1-1 draw, I'm happy with that before the international break. A positive outcome. Let's move on.
Ross in the comments, Cam, says, I went with the mindset of maybe a loss. So a draw was okay, but I think we should have won. I think that's probably a fair reflection. I don't think many people would have had us down to win the game or take anything from it. So they've been happy with the draw. And then the performance probably overall, like we said, probably did merit all 3 points. A little bit unfortunate in the goal that we conceded in the end.
Yeah, a little bit poor, but I think overall, considering the issues that we've got regarding personnel being fit, we've just got to take it game by game, and it's not a loss. That's the most important thing, and we have struggled to gain momentum sometimes. You look back to last season, we had a really good run, and then some poor results at the new year, and then we couldn't buy. Jeez, thanks, Alan.
Somebody tell Alan where his mute button is.
Bless him.
Where was I? Yeah, so momentum. It's
I'm
like,
covered in spit here.
Can you catch a cold for a virtual podcast?
no, don't about that. You'll have conspiracy theories after us.
Oh no, we're not. We're never going to win awards if we talk about that.
No. But yeah, it's a point. It's the first time we've ever taken points at Reading's new ground. And like we said, we got absolutely trounced by them towards the end of last season. So I think anything other than a loss was positive. Yeah, just a little bit disappointing the way that we conceded the goal. And had some players sort of like, I know he's going to come in for a lot of flight, but if Nathan Mariah Welsh should have put that chance away.
Sorry, who?
Nobby Welsh. I forgot his name, to be honest.
It's little Nobby Welsh, please.
Little Nobby Welsh. The little is very apt.
So if he'd have put that chance away, but same again, if Will Evans could hold his line, then also would have been absolutely fine. But he's quite enjoys being offside, that lad does.
We're going to talk about the opening 11 games in a little while, just sort of rounding off chapter 1, Alan. But I think one thing that we can take away from the Reading game as well is the partnership which is starting to build now between Tyler Roberts and Rhys Oates as well. It's starting to look a nice little, nice little bit of movement between those two.
It's looking really good, isn't it? You know, because, I mean, we know what Rhys can do when he's fit. I've always been an advocate of Rhys, as you know, because when he's fit and firing, there's not many better, to be fair. But he is forging, like you say, a partnership with Tyler, and his little flicks and bits and bobs, you know, that he does,
His
little
little
backfields and whatever. Little
He's
flicks
what?
and bits and bobs.
Go down
It's
that route,
spot
Alan.
on.
Jesus.
It's spot on with them. You know, that one that he gave for little Nobby Welsh when he hit bar, you know, that was a back heel, weren't it? And he's played, you know, he's playing really well, and fair play to him. And it was a decent goal, although it was quite fortunate, the first goal that we scored, because it came off, rebounded off two of their players, didn't it, into his path. But he still had to dink it over the keeper, and it was a quality finish in the end, I thought.
Yeah, it was. On the subject of Rhys Oates, Clive, I think, again, we can see why Nigel Clough wants to keep him around, because the goal in which we scored, he picks the ball up in his own half, you know, travels a fair distance and puts a ball into a really good area.
He does. He's a unique player. With nobody else in our squad like him. In fact, there aren't many players in the league like him. When he's fit, when he's confident, and he can put a few games under his belt, he is a real asset. And in fact, if it wasn't for his injuries, I think we'd have probably lost him to a sale at some point in the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep your comments coming in. Have your say on your team. Let's reflect then on Reading a little bit more, Alan, because we did score a decent goal in through Tyler Roberts. Little Nobby Welsh hit the bar. I don't think it crossed the line, to be fair. I think there's some questionable stills out there showing that it did. I don't think it did. But we should have had a few more goals. We really did miss that finishing touch at times, because we played some good build-up stuff, didn't we?
We did, and they're all on fire. You know, I thought Aaron Lewis had a really good game again. And just as a by note, what about the partnership that Dave and FBT are making? Now, you know, for somebody when Cargill's not fit, and Cargill, you know, he basically walks straight into the team usually. But FBT is putting a very strong case there, because I thought he had another cracking game. I gave him the Man of the Match award, personally.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I thought he played really well in that first half, especially. He looked very comfortable on the ball.
Yeah.
And it was almost like Bailey. He was, you know, Bailey Cargill playing in an FBT mask. Yeah, absolutely. Ross in the comments, Clive says it's a coincidence that their goal came pretty much straight after Sweeney come on, but did think we started to look poorer when Macca went off. But it is what it is. I think we did lose something a little bit when Macca went off, because that, you know, like Alan was alluding to there, that back four, Noyle at right back, you know, Dave, FBT, and Macca was looking okay. And you know, when we had to make that change at the back, with Macca going down injured, it was catch-22. Did you go like for like and put McAdam in, who's not really an out-and-out left-back, a little bit of inexperience on a big pitch, or do you put the experienced captain in and just shuffle the pack a little bit? it was 50-50, wasn't it, for Nigel Clough?
I think he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't on this occasion. The reality is, it's nothing to do with Sweeney.
100%.
The fact is, Sweeney was the bloke that came on to replace a player that had been well set in the game. And whenever you do that, when you're forced to replace somebody who's comfortable and in through an injury or whatever, it's always a weak point, and therefore the team has to respond differently when you bring new blood into the team. Even no matter how experienced they are, I mean, Sweeney's full of experience. He's not been playing that well. Let's be clear about that. But I think if he'd been on from the start, you wouldn't have had any complaints about him. But we'll see. I mean, Ross was right. It is what it is. And on another day, he would have come on and done something majestic. But it was a little bit of firefighting for the lad. And when you come on like that and you've no chance to get into the game before you have to do all these things, it is a coincidence that the goal was scored fairly quickly after Sweens came on, I think.
Yeah, Matt in the comments says the substitution was right. The goal wasn't anyone's fault. Yeah, absolutely. Keep your comments coming in. Have your say on your team. Yes, Cameron.
I just want to also point out the fact that we are having to play Fraser as a left side centre back also feeds into the fact that Mac coming off was a problem, because usually those two wouldn't start because they play the same position, they play the same role. So purely by the fact that we have no players to play is the fact that they're on the pitch at the same time, because usually one would replace the other. So I think this is more just speaks about the fact that we are so shot at the back with injuries that we're just patching gaps up, which is leaving us exposed. So when Mac is having to go off and we can't replace him like for like, yes, you've got McAdam there, but he's not the same player. He's not got the experience on him. And it's just the fact that we are now, it's just the consequences of having injuries at the moment.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see what happens for the Newcastle game in a week tomorrow. Is it a week tomorrow, Alan? It's a Wednesday night, isn't it?
I know, Wednesday night. Strange one, that. That must be something to do with Newcastle, I think.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Well, their team has to get permission to leave school on the day for the game.
Probably do, to be fair. It's a long way to come as well for them. It's going to be one of them horrible ones, isn't it, where there's about 3 fans and then we lose 2-0 or something daft like that anyway. Dominic says we did play well, but our big blow is that we got injured players. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was probably the one thing which Nigel Clough wouldn't have wanted Clive during that, when he saw Stephen McLaughlin go down, because he's probably thinking, oh God, how long and who do I play there now?
Well, I'm sure I'm not on my own, but I'm thoroughly sick of talking about injuries and players who are not fit. We've got invested heavily in sports technology and specialist trainers and coaches and fitness coaches and analysts and God knows what else we've got up there. And yet we seem to end up with a team which has not got the durability that we need at this level. Now, you'll probably say, and I'd probably agree with you, that other clubs are in exactly the same position. I don't give a toss about other clubs. I'm more bothered about what seems to be a perennial problem at Mansfield, and that's players made of chalk.
Yes, absolutely it is. And that has been a running theme, Alan, during the opening 11 games. Obviously, we're closing the chapter now, if you like, on that. Now we've got a bit of an international break. On reflection, how do you feel that the first 11 games has gone? You know, won 4, lost 4, drawn 3 from the opening 11, sitting bang average mid-table, probably better than what we expected, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. And as Nigel always alludes to in his interviews, that the first 2 games we should have had a point. You know, we shouldn't really have lost those. But, you know, counting everything else into equation how we have done since then, I think it's a good return, and I think it bodes well, because when you do get a few injuries back, it'll make a change, because it'll be up to Nigel then. You know, we'll probably have an even stronger bench than what we've ever had. Because, you know, whether he takes them out and puts Cargill back, you know, et cetera, when the other players are fit, it will be interesting to see, to be fair. But I think, you know, the points we've gotten mid-table, we did go, when we'd scored the first goal, we went up to 8. We're getting quite dizzy. But I think it's a fair reflection. And, you know, after 11 games, it bodes well.
Yeah, it certainly does. Let us know your thoughts at home. What's your thoughts on the opening 11 games? Clive, when you reflect on those 11, we were stood together at Burton on the opening day. It seems like a very long time ago now, and almost feels like a very different Mansfield town for a number of reasons, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult to say from one game to the next how they compare, because we've been so, in terms of team selection, we've had no continuity at all. Again, for the reasons we've already mentioned. So you can't say, well, these bunch were playing better then than they did now, they are doing now, or vice versa, because they're not the same bunch. What we are seeing, and it's a positive, is we are seeing some really good little units working together now. You mentioned one of them already. I think the two strikers could gel and be good for us. I certainly think Fraser Blake Tracy has produced some special performances, even when he's not playing in his favourite position. I think he's got a degree of physical fitness that allows him to be dominant anywhere on that back line. And I think that's good news. I'll take the point that Cam was making about the problem when you've got Macca not available or runs out of steam. But that's Clough's having to make do with what he's got. I think if we'd had our best team out all season, we'd have probably been 3, maybe 4 points better than we are. That's the reality of it. We should have got something out of the first 2 games. I think we were denied down at Port Vale, and I think we're a little bit unlucky on Saturday. But apart from that, the game is a game. You can make your own luck, I suppose.
As much as we talk about injuries hampering us, Cam, I actually think that on the 11 games that we've played so far, injuries have actually played quite a pivotal role in the transformation of tactic, because it was only due to player availability which we, which saw us switch from the back 3, the wing backs, which wasn't really working for us, to the 4-2-3-1, which has definitely seen a massive improvement in the way that we've gelled and played. So maybe actually in opening that, over that first 11 games, we should stand back and applaud the injuries for that reason only.
I mean, it's an interesting way of looking at it. I don't think it's too out of the realms of just like daftness, I guess. I think it's perfectly valid, because we've had to gel and bond. And I think you look at a team that struggled so much towards the end of last season, and a team that quite clearly had issues in the dressing room, not as in like full-blown arguments, but just players getting frustrated with each other because we know we can play better. We've very much now got completely the opposite. We've got a team that are so together, and a team that are grafting for each other in a time that where just bodies are very limited because of injuries, and where we couldn't buy a win last season, we're not. Even games that we're losing this season, we're not being completely outplayed. I don't think there's a single, all bar the Burton game. I don't think there's a single game out this season.
Can I correct you? We weren't outplayed at Burton. Burton scored 2 worldy goals because we allowed him a bit of space for the loanee from Chelsea to open his leg and go for him. Apart from that, there was very little difference. In fact, we should have had the game stitched up at half time. So we weren't murdered. And to pick up on your point, I'm agreeing with you. I don't think anybody's taken us to town there so far. And I don't see any signs of that happening either.
Yeah, we ran out of steam against Doncaster. Obviously, they're on another team that's just on a bit of a momentum run. Burton, you'd probably say the same because of the great escape that they managed to pull off last season. Doesn't help that Will Evans misses an absolute sitter in the first 30 seconds. But there's nobody that's outplayed us this season. And there's games where we've lost, for example, Port Vale. We probably should have won that with 10 men. And you can't... It's just like we've just... All right, we can keep questioning why are we keep getting these injuries, but it seems to be the same season after season after season. So inherently, there's probably something wrong with our training methods rather than the pitches. They've redone the pitches, and we're still having the same training. We're still having the same training ground injuries, and the players are getting injured all the time. So I don't know. There's too much to look at, but you just look at how the teams bonded and gelled together because we've had to. We've had no choice but to. Because
nobody at the club will admit to there being any issues with the teams in terms of selection, recruitment, training, coaching, statistics. None of those will be blamed for it. It's just a culmination of circumstances. I know we fans are left to ponder it, aren't we? We've all got our opinions about it. But you're right about one thing there. It's the adversity that they're having to work with that's bonding them better than they might have done had they got an easier run at it. I think. Sorry, I just want to finish up. I just think you've got to find the positives in what's a difficult time, and it is difficult because of injuries, and we know that. But if you look at some of the positives that have emerged, I think, in this first 11 games, our goalkeeper, Mr. Roberts, much better than the previous incumbents. O'Donnell, I think is it O'Donnell?
No, you're thinking of McDonnell.
McDonnell. The one on the farm, that's the one.
That's his Irish friend.
He's he's
call him Daniel if you want.
He's a proper gem, and I think you can see a bright future for him. And we won't have him next season, so let's get the best out of him for this season. I think the emergence of Aaron Lewis as a better player than he'd been written off by many in recent games. Again, he probably wouldn't get pitch time if it weren't for the circumstances. We've mentioned Fraser Blake Tracy, and I also think Roberts, the other one. They're the gems as far as I can see. And to a certain extent, some of that's surprising me. And it's good news because out of that adversity thing, these guys are getting the pitch time.
Yeah, and there's one man that you didn't mention there, Clive, and that is, of course, Mr. Jordan Bowery, who should have had a stand named after him. And if you feel like Jordan Bowery should have had the Bishop Street stand named in his honour, then don't forget to vote for Mansfield Matters at the Football Content Awards. You've got until Sunday, the 12th of October, to vote for us for the Best Football League podcast. You can do so now via scanning the QR code that you can see on screen, or you can click the link that's in the episode description. We appreciate it very much. Do it for Jordan Bowery, who's been one of the standout performers in the opening 11 games so far. Tactically, Alan, in that 11 games, we mentioned there, the change from the back three to a solid back four. I do feel like that's had a big impact for us. And I think maybe the players seem to understand that a little bit more, because I'm thinking back now to my pre-season thoughts, and I could see what Nigel Clough was trying to do, but I did feel all throughout pre-season that something wasn't right. I didn't know whether to put that down to, the oversight, the new players coming in at that point. We had 9 new players that came through the door, pre-Max Dickoff and Tyler Roberts. But I don't know, there was just something which didn't quite feel right in the tactic that we were setting up with pre-season, and then having to switch, 3 games in when we went to the C word seemed to do us, a real favour in the end. And maybe Nigel Clough has taken a step back and looked at that and gone, we'll drop into the 3 sometimes when we need to, and we'll be fluid, but the foundations of how we were successful are probably going to be staying with the 4.
Well, when it's working, I don't think there's any reason to change it. And he hasn't changed it, even though we've had to bring, Fraser Blake Tracy in at centre-half, although he did play there for Swindon. And, the other players that have come in have had to do a job. Aaron Lewis and whatever. Little Nobby Welsh has gone back over on the right. So, when it needs must, but it's worked, hasn't it? So, why change it? The only thing I would change, or well, not so much change, is try and bring Dwyer on a little bit earlier. So I think he's been a bit starved, but sometimes that's just circumstances. But when he comes on, he looks fresh.
Do you feel like Dwyer has suffered a little bit, Al, because of the system change? Because I think
I do, yeah.
Clough had in his mind that he'd play in a 2, but we're not playing a 2 now, are we?
No. So, but it's horses for courses. He'll get his chance. I'm sure he will, and I think, like he did the other week, he'll take it when he gets his chance.
Absolutely. Let's have a quick run through the players that did arrive in the summer. Then, Clive, we've spoken at length about Ryan Sweeney and Liam Roberts, but obviously out injured at the moment. Regan Hendry, again. Tactically, in the first couple of games, he didn't seem to settle. He didn't seem to find the right role for him, and I thought it was very much a missing part at Burton. I think me, you, and Nick, didn't we, had that conversation at half time of thinking, I don't see where this guy's going to click. But as soon as we went to the back 4 and he sort of sat in that 10 role, he looked an absolutely different player. And oh my God, we are missing him a little bit in there.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't see anything in him until that change in structure behind him. I thought the last 2 games before he went injured were very special. And in one of those games, he scored a very special goal, of course. But no, I think it's just a shame, and it's the damnation of Mansfield Town that as soon as he finds a bit of form, he gets injured and he's out for a while. So when he comes back, will he be as good? Will he be, will he have to start up again? I don't know. But we did see what obviously the recruitment team had seen in taking him on, but not immediately. And it just goes to show how different ways of playing the game reflect on people's ability to participate in it. And the lads obviously got talent, but we didn't see it for the first few games. Well, not enough of it anyway.
The story is, though, Cam, as well, that a lot of the players that signed in the summer, again, are on the injury bench or in the RH Academy medical wing, sponsored by Lee Gregory's knee. Unfortunately for them, they've not really had the time to shine. And I think one of those players who's probably suffering a lot from that is Luke Bolton, because there was a lot of excitement around his signing. We know what pace he possesses. We know what he can do against team. We saw glimpses of it when he sort of did play, but he's not had a pre-season. He's had a handful of cameo appearances, if you like, scored a decent-ish goal for us, now on the treatment table. And, he's suffering a little bit.
Yeah. Obviously, we were very interested in before he went to Wrexham. We knew with the ability that he possessed, we at first hand, we saw the ability that he possessed. He had our absolute pants down in that spanking that Salford gave us. Had Mr. Bowery on absolute toast, which says a lot because Jordan is no slouch. So we knew the ability. So the fact that we were so excited and it just to finally get the man that we wanted, it is brilliant. I think we've missed out on too many players in the past where they've gone elsewhere or the deal's not just been right. So to finally get somebody that we really wanted, fantastic. Of course, he's been plagued with injuries, though. And it just seems that players that we sign are either cropped to the point they have no pre-season the year that we've signed them, or they're constantly injured for their previous club, or they've been plagued by injuries in the past, and sort of like coming to Mansfield is a bit like of a comeback, very much like Luke Bolton, not getting the chance at Wrexham, no chance he's going to get into that Wrexham team now. So the move was obviously a good one for him, but it's just so bloody frustrating because he's such a talented player and the pace. Imagine him and Reece Oates on either wing running it. You've no chance, absolutely no chance. And it's just so frustrating that we've got the same problems season after season, even if it's completely different players. And we know Wrexham will have pumped a load of money into their development, their sort of like their healthcare and the medical team. So the fact that he's still injured is just absolutely bonkers. The thing I don't understand, and perhaps someone can enlighten me, as part of a professional recruitment process, surely is due diligence. And there's enough stats out there for anybody to know how many games have been lost through injury for a player that you've got your eyes on. And certainly you should, at this level, our senior coaching staff know players intimately around the leagues. They know who they are. And they've been sounding them out for a while. Otherwise, we don't stand a chance of getting them. How is it that players who've got a history of regular injuries are being considered? Do we think that we're a better organisation for dealing with injuries? We ought to be getting better because we've got plenty of practice. But the reality is, how do you can't eliminate it? It would be stupid to believe so. But I just think, to pick up on what Cam was saying, we've seemed to have recruited players. Too many players have been almost instantly injured.
Yeah.
And not always footballing injuries either.
Very true. But again, on the flip side of that, you could sign a player who's been fit throughout their entire career, not missed a single game, and the first tackle they fly into, someone, break something, or they just pull up and do the ACL. So it is a really hard one.
When we signed Oates, he had one bad injury. It was a broken leg, so it's as bad as it comes. But he wasn't particularly injured, and like you say, like Clive just said, I wish there was a metric where you could look at it. Well, with Oates, we kind of can see it. He's missed roughly about 100 games for us all in all over the 3 years that he's been here, 4 years. So it's just absolutely insane that, like you say, how do players keep passing medicals?
Exactly.
It's bonkers. It's absolutely insane because wasn't Deji injured when he came to us as well?
Sorry, who?
Dave.
That's twice.
Yellow cards, that one. It's got to
Not
be.
me. Alan said it first time.
Right.
Yeah, but we like Alan.
Yeah, exactly.
I got Nobby Welsh wrong.
You did, yeah. So
Yeah, you did.
So actually, you've got two names wrong so far. So that is a yellow card.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there you go. Right, I'm going to wrap up talking about the summer signings. Then we're going to take a break. Alan, one man who's been the absolute opposite of injury prone, touch wood, so far, and who's been superb for us is Kyle Noyle.
Yeah. I must admit though, he's certainly turning my head because when I saw both of them, and I put them both together, I prefer, not for no reason at all, I just prefer Elliot Hewitt. I think he gives you a little bit more going forward, and he's also got a long throw.
I think the problem there, Al, sorry to cut you off, is when you saw them both together, like we alluded to earlier, it was system. We were playing the back five, weren't we? We weren't playing the back four. So,
but, going from past experiences, I think Elliot Hewitt is a damn good footballer, and he plays really well on right hand side, right back. But after saying that, you can't knock what Kyle Noyle's done. And he is starting to get, a bit of with little Nobby Walsh, the little movement, bits and bobs, like I said before, he's moving up the pitch and is actually starting to put a few crosses in.
But we all like Hewitt, but he's made a chalk.
We certainly do. Right. Time to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have a quick look at the next 11 games. We'll recap podcast predictions and we'll ask Alan a very important question.
Protect what matters most with Actifier Limited.
Your trusted local fire safety experts in Nottinghamshire. Proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast. From fire extinguishers and alarms to emergency lighting, pat testing and risk assessments, they've got everything you need for your business to stay safe. Affordable, reliable, professional. Because when it comes to fire protection, there's no room for compromise. Call Actifier Limited today or visit actifier.co.uk. Be ready, be safe, act now. Actifier Limited, proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast.
We're the Mansfield Matters crew, making podcasts just for you. Some show up, some disappear, but the Stags bring us all here. Through the ups and downs we stay, talking Mansfield Town every day.
You're back with the Mansfield Matters podcast, the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Because voting for Mansfield Matters at the Football Content Awards matters. Click the link in the description. Vote for Mansfield Matters as the best Football League podcast. You've got until Sunday to do it, so keep doing it. Ramp up those votes. Reminder, it's 50% fan voted and 50% panel voted. So we need you to sort of get us in front of people and hopefully we win an award. Clive had his hand up. Hello.
Can I just say that while we've been on air, I've voted 7 times. I didn't think it would accept it multiple votes, but it does.
Exactly that. So, all I'm saying is make it a habit.
You've got a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, make it a habit and vote for Mansfield Matters at the Football Content Awards. The link that you need is in the description. Right, we've spoken about the first 11 games. Alan, the next 11 league games takes us right up to the end of the calendar year. Where do you think we'll be in 11 league games' time?
Probably a couple of places higher. I think we might be sitting about 10th.
Would that be an overachievement based on what we've had so far, or an underachievement?
No, I don't think so. I think it'd probably be par, to be fair. We'll get a few, depending on the injured players. But I mean, let's face it, we can't knock the team, performing how they are with the injured players that are out. It's whether they get back in or not. Like I said, the first match when there's quite a lot of them fit, that bench is going to be so strong. It'll be unbelievable. But no, I think a couple of places higher and just sitting pretty, ready.
Realistically, Cam, we're probably looking at the end of October, early November for when those players come back fit. Who do you think we are missing the most, and what areas do you think, other than defence, we need to just sort of bolster the numbers a little bit?
Player we're missing the most has to be Bailey Cargill. Has to be. And the area that needs strengthening the most, I probably would say the strikers are still. Imagine my shock. We are what? This is our 9th season doing this, and we're still complaining we don't have enough strikers or good enough strikers. Yeah, sound like a broken record at this point.
I think the thing is, football has definitely changed from when we first started watching. You know, you would look at a striker, you'd look at someone like Richie Barker or whatever, or whoever your centre forward was, and, you know, you'd be looking at them to get you 15, 20 goals a season. And now your goals come from everywhere. As long as people score, I don't care whether Liam Roberts' left testicle puts it in the back of the net, to be honest.
It's true, but also don't forget, we started this podcast and it was under Big Steve. Don't even think about it.
All right.
Oh, dear. Anyway, moving on. So the fact that we started doing this podcast and our strike partnership with Lee Hangle and Danny Rose. So to be honest, I think we've improved over time.
Both are still playing.
And scoring.
And scoring, ironically.
Yeah. It's just the fact that other than Mr. Keeler Dunn, we've not had an out-and-out goal scorer that's actually ours for a very, very long time now. Gregory don't count because he was cropped. Obviously, Tyler Walker scored goals for fun on loan. Kane Hemmings scored goals, loan. We've just not had anybody that's actually ours to keep. And they always say don't fall in love with a lone player. I genuinely think I might cry when McDonald goes back because we've just got so many good players. Jesus Christ, Alan.
Can't help coughing. Leave me alone.
Keeps making me jump.
I'll make you jump in a minute. I'll make you jump out of a bloody window. Stop slagging Alan off.
I'm not. Anyway, it's just the fact that we bring all these players in and then we just have to let them go again, which is really, really sad. And we just need to sign a goal scorer, to be honest. I think, like you say, we've got goals coming from across the pitch, but unfortunately, everybody else is that does help chip in with goals every now and again are also cropped.
Yes, very, very true.
And the game's changed as well. Not many clubs have a number 9 anymore.
Yeah.
Back in my day, you depended on a number 9 getting 20 to 30 goals. Well, it's not the case anymore. Harry Kane being an exception, I suppose. But the fact is, what we haven't replaced is Keeler Dunn. He bagged goals in the number 10 position, and we haven't got that same majestic player. And so we're having to find other ways forward. If we can score the right number of goals, it doesn't matter where they come from at the end of the day, does it?
No.
Very true. My phone's just given me a notification. I've had a message from Cam saying, can I have a StreamYard link, please? Well, you managed to find it, didn't you? So well done.
I sent that ages ago.
It's literally just come through.
Craig, you didn't hide it well enough.
No, I didn't. Obviously, no, needs to do a much better job.
If you're on PC, it doesn't let you find pinned comments or messages that easily.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. Right, we're going to move on, and I think we've talked enough about the opening 11 games and the next 11 games. Shall we have a little wrap up of where we are with a certain guessing game that brings you 0 fame? I think we should, and I think we should play a jingle.
The game of luck, who gives up, don't mess it up. I hear you say, how do you play? Win, lose or draw, then pick a score and one more thing. Pick a hero, don't score 0, that's the game. But we're not fools, this game has rules. It gets on time, you'll be fine, remember the rhyme. That's predictions. That's predictions. Remember the rhyme. Guess on time, you'll be fine. Remember the rhyme. Podcast predictions.
So, podcast predictions then. Well, no point guessing for the next few games because obviously we've got a bit of a break. So we'll get our guesses in the chat later on. However, for match 11, 7 people predicted a 1-1 draw. But with maximum points, because of their choice of player, choosing Tyler Roberts, the weekly winner was Stephen Pound, who collected 24 points. 2 people, however, missed out on making their predictions because they predicted around 2:30 p.m, which is just too late. Remember, Cam, you've got to submit your predictions when?
An hour and a half.
No later than 90 minutes before kickoff on your selected game. 2 people also repeated their player choice, including our very own Clive, which cost him first place in the Mansfield Matters League because he was deducted points and dropped into 3rd.
Well, who did I choose?
Whoever it was that you chose the same player twice in a row.
Oh, I don't believe that.
Well, that's all.
I'm going to lodge an appeal.
All I can do is relay the message from Ben, our podcast predictions guru, that you chose the same player 2 games in a row. Overall in the league standings, Matt Piercy is back at the top with 128 points. Simon Wilson is in second on 125, and Olivia Wilson has dropped to 3rd on 123. In the Mansfield Matters League, because of Clive's epic fail, he's dropped to 3rd place on 77 points. I'm in second on 81, and Jim is in 1st place with 86 points. If you want to play along with podcast predictions, you can do so. You can get your guesses in right now. I need to remove the Plymouth game, because if you put predictions in for the Plymouth game, you only have to do it again when we play them later on in the season, and they won't count, and we're not going to carry them over. So yeah, get your guesses in now for Luton if you want to do so. We'll do ours in the private chat close to the time, because I'll write them down somewhere and forget probably. So yeah, make sure you play along with podcast predictions and keep your guesses coming in. Right, because it ends on the 12th. Need a change of music. I'm going to go with rock. There we go. Right. One thing which does come to an end, though, on Sunday is voting for the Football Content Awards. I warned you when we got nominated for this that I would hammer this home, and you're probably bored by listening to it now, but I don't care because it's funny. So, Cam, as the longest-serving member of the podcast panel that's on tonight, who this evening is going to do the podcast vote spiel? Is it going to be Steve Evans or is it going to be Stephen Quinn? Who's doing the podcast prediction? Who's doing the podcast plea?
Hang on a minute. Just getting some information. Apparently both are on your doorstep right now. So you might as well let them both in.
Well, I can't do both. They can't be at the same time. Alan, who's your vote for? Quinn or Evans?
It's got to be Quinny.
Clive, Quinn or Evans? Is it Uncle Stephen or is it Steve? Is it Big Steve?
I think I'm going to rail against it and go with Evans.
All right, well, I'll tell you what.
No, Stephen Quinn.
You change your mind halfway through, shocking. Hello there, Uncle Stephen here with a very special message for you.
Evans. Let's have Evans.
We just want to say that I quite like the Mansfield Matters podcast, and I think you guys at home should vote for them for the best Football League podcast at this year's Football
Hang on a minute.
Award.
This is somebody from Westlife.
What I think you should do is tell Clive to shut the fuck up and click on the link in the description, or click on the QR code on
Shane
screen
from Westlife.
to vote for Mansfield Matters at the Content Awards.
What the what code?
All right, it's Big Steve here. All right, see, when I tell CJ to run, I mean run towards the nearest laptop to get yourself onto the Football Content Awards nomination thing. And what you should do, CJ, is vote for Mansfield Matters for the Football Content Awards for Best Football League Podcasts. And I promise you, I won't come on the podcast again this season if they get top 3. So vote now to end Big Steve.
Oh, we've shot it then.
That's shucking chockers.
If anybody's voted after listening to this,
We'll get sympathy votes, don't worry.
I don't know what you're talking about. Alan, why should people vote for Mansfield Matters at the Football Content Awards?
Because we are Mansfield Matters. We do it. We're just a friendly bunch of guys who have like a little bit of fun, know a little bit about football. We share it with everybody else in Mansfield, and Mansfield always matters.
Clive, why should people vote more than 7 times in an hour for Mansfield Matters at the Football Content Awards? Why should they vote for Mansfield Matters?
Because we're all just a bit mad.
And Cameron, why should people vote for Mansfield Matters? Why should people vote for the podcast we've been doing since day one for this show? Why should they vote?
because
No one cares what you think. That's why they should vote for Mansfield Matters. No one cares what you think.
I was just typing a comment. There we go. Because Nathan will cry. Genuinely, if we don't win this, Nathan might actually cry. And he'll never forgive anybody because he likes to hold a grudge.
Listen, you know, it's been brilliant doing this podcast from day one, and it is. Say it every time that we plug this, and this will be the last time that we plug it because it ends on Sunday. Voting ends on Sunday, which is why we're doing this stupid spiel. I said I'd push it. I'm pushing it. When we decided to do this, we all had our individual reasons for wanting to come on and do it, and I think for Nathan, it gave him a way of reconnecting with the beautiful game. For me, it gave me a focus during a bit of a difficult time in my life, and I don't know why Muppet Features joined in either, but he did.
Because you asked him Alfred and away in pre-season.
You're remembering it differently from us. I remember you begging us.
I don't really know how this came about. I just think it was just the fact that we just all happened to be at Alfred and away, and just mentioned the fact that, oh, we've got this idea. Would you fancy doing it if we did do it? We don't know how long it might end after one episode. I think they were pretty much the words you said to me. And all you said that we got some other random guy to help out doing it. And yeah, it just ended up just snowballing from there. And I do remember getting a little bit wet for that first episode because we were in Titchfield Park.
Yeah, let's clarify that. So when the podcast started, it wasn't a live thing. We never had any visions of doing it live or anything. We decided to record it for some reason in a park. It hammered it down in Titchfield Park. And yet we still did another 6 episodes, another 5 episodes in parks. And then we thought, this is quite weird. 4 guys hanging about in a park with a camera.
I think, if I remember rightly, we did carry on doing it pre-recorded. We seemed to do a tour de Mansfield of the parks. So we ended up in Titchfield. We were in Berry Hill. We were at Carbank, and we kind of just floated around a load of places, and then it just became, I think it was actually a Derby Day special against Lincoln, and it just happened that we just thought, you know what, sod it, we're going to do it live, and then it's spiraled ever since. If you really, 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 really want to, go back and watch that live.
No. It was terrible.
Go back and watch it. Go back and watch it live. Because
can I just say, I because I wasn't around then, I was only a lad. I thought I'll go back and watch it, but on balance, having seen it, I'd sooner saw my thumb off.
Yeah, but not the content, just the quality of it, the camera quality. It was
everything.
We used to listen to the interviews through a little Bluetooth speaker in front of us, so we had to all be deadly silent whilst doing it. And I think if there's ever a reason to go and vote for us now, it's because of where we've come from. Because this is fantastic. We've got microphones, we've got lights, we've got studio lighting, studio cameras. and a proper platform to do it on instead of just a really sketchy Facebook live stream.
Some gin and tonic.
Yeah, some gin and tonic for Clive, which I think gets him through it when Uncle Stephen makes an appearance. Genuinely, though, it's never been about winning awards. We're going to plug it, of course we are, because we'd like just for a laugh.
We do want to win.
But I think for me, we've got through a period. I think we got through the first 2 series or so, and I was a bit like, well, we've done that. I'm a bit bored with it now. I'm not quite sure where we want to go with it. And then we had the horrendousness of COVID hitting, and that for me is where Mansfield Matters sort of got a little bit of rebirth. When we couldn't go to stadiums, and we had to sit at home on the sofa and not connect with each other, we started doing the post-match show, and then very quickly became a pre-match and a post-match show and a midweek podcast and stag stories and all of that in between, just to try and bring football, and it snowballed from there. And every single week someone comes up to me who I've got no idea who they are, no idea what the names are, and they say, love the show, keep up the good work, and that just keeps us coming back. So we want to win it or get in the top 3 to say thank you to you. It's not about me, it's not about Nathan, not about Cam, Jim, Nick, Alan or Clive or anyone that's been on the podcast before as a panelist or as a guest. It's about you guys at home. It's about us saying thank you to you guys at home. So if you can, please do vote for Mansfield Matters at the Football Content Awards in the Best Football League podcast category. The link that you need is in the description. The QR code's on screen. It ends on Sunday, so please keep shouting about it. Please keep sharing it and do your best for Mansfield Matters. And how do we reward you? Well, we reward you with great features like this. Oh, it cut off the jingle.
Oh,
Do it again.
Alan, where's you been? Alan, where's you been? Alan, where is your babe? Alan, where's you been? Alan, where's you been? Alan, where is your babe? Alan, where's you been? Alan, where's you been? Alan, where is your babe? Alan, where's you been? Alan, where's you been? Alan, where is your babe?
And if that doesn't deserve to win a Football Content Award for Best Football League podcast, I don't know what does. Right. What on earth is Alan, where's you been? Well, as you well know at home, Alan Wilson is a fantastic fellow and a great servant of the district of Mansfield for many a year as a bin man. And earlier this year, we caused a stir as we said, congratulations on your retirement and all of that stuff. And people thought he was retiring from One Call Stadium and wasn't. He was just retiring from being a bin man. However, Nick, Clive and I took Alan to Birmingham away for the final away game of last season at a time where Birmingham's bins were overflowing so much. Alan Wilson couldn't help himself, and it took all of our strength to drag him away for tidying up their bins. Since his retirement, he just can't let it go. So he's been up and down the country to find bins outside of football stadiums. And he's come up with a little game for us to answer the question, Alan, where's your bin? Alan's got 5 clues, and he's going to read them out one by one. And after each clue, he's going to ask us if we've got or if we know the answer. We're going to say yes or no. We're not going to say what the answer is. We're just going to say yes or no. If one of us says yes, we will then reveal the answer, and we will win points according to what question it is. So if we get it on the first clue, Alan, it's worth how many points?
5 points.
If we get it on the second clue, Alan, it's worth how many points?
4 points.
If we get it, I think you know what comes next, don't you? I don't need to keep going through that. So there you go. So Alan Wilson, it's over to you to ask the immortal question. Alan, where's your bin?
Right, ladies and gentlemen, the first clue for 5 points. This football team, where I've been to look at their bin and empty it for them, was founded in 1885, and they became the first professional club in southern England. Do you want to repeat that?
No.
So you've got to ask now, Alan, do we know the answer?
Do you know the answer? Yes or no?
No. Clive?
Clive?
No.
Cam?
No.
Right, for 4 points. This team achieved 4 promotions in 9 years. 4 promotion. Oh, Clive's nodding. You know the answer? Yes or no?
I think so, so I'm happy to guess.
Right, if you want to guess.
So what we should do now is write it on a bit of paper
Yeah.
and show it to the screen. So we're not like one person's not saying it and then someone's not copying. So
And you say Matt Percy in the comments says he knows.
right. So Clive, wait, have you got it written down?
No, I don't know.
Okay,
No,
so
Clive doesn't know.
okay, so I'm gonna say it is. You probably can't read it. Where is it? Is it back to front? I've done it back to front. You're not even showing, is it? I can't see it. I'll just say it. Luton. Is it Luton?
It is. That is correct.
Ah, so I win. Alan, where's your bin? So I've got 4 points. I pick up 4 points. Here's my little thing gone.
How is this better than what's in the book?
Can I just say, I did know the answer to that, Alan, but I wouldn't come clean with it because I know somewhere along the line the points will be taken off me for some obscure rule.
I think that's more than fair, to be fair, Clive.
There is
We'll
no obscure rule whatsoever. There's no obscure rule.
Well,
That is...
I'd be about to say my answer, and then I'd get kicked out of the podcast. So I think
No, that's just good fun.
Well, yeah, it is good fun. That is very true. It is good fun.
You did well there, Craig, for 4 points.
Thank
Did very
you.
well.
Can I just say that had I been pushed to answer, I'd have said Wimbledon.
Yeah.
So, well, there you go.
The other 3 clues were they won the League Cup final in 1988 against Arsenal.
Yeah, got it by
That
then.
had swung it.
That's Swindon.
And then the 4th clue, there was the second team to have what was originally known as the plastic pitch. Queen's Park Rangers were the first. And then the last clue was the easy one. They are nicknamed the Hatters.
Stockport County.
So there you go. That is Alan. Where's you been? Thank
Well
you
done,
so much,
Craig.
Mr. Wilson. And we've got to end the feature by playing the jingle again, haven't we?
No, we didn't.
First game of Alan, where's you been? And just because, we've got a little bit of time and because we want you to vote for the Football Content Awards, it's time now for one final game of What's in Craig's Bucket? You know how this works.
it's been a while.
You know how this works. I've got an item in my bucket. You have got 4 questions and 4 questions only each. I can only answer yes, no, or maybe, or give you a little steer along the way. And you've got to guess what item is in Craig's bucket. The order is going to go as follows. It's going to go Alan, then it's going to go Cam, then it's going to go Clive. So here we go. Let's play. Remember, you don't guess during those 4 questions. You can guess at the end. So let's play one final game. You thought this feature was dead and buried. Absolutely not. What's in Craig's bucket? Alan Wilson.
Craig, first guess. Is it edible?
No.
Right.
Cam.
Cam's going to say, can you eat it?
To be fair, that would have been my first question. It helped it narrow down a little bit. Would you find this item in a hardware store, so a B&Q or something like that?
No.
Is it bigger than a fridge freezer?
something that's bigger than a fridge with this bucket. No! It's the obvious answer.
Second question, Craig. Could you wear it?
I would say yes, you could wear it as an accessory
Oh.
of sorts.
It could be a fridge freezer then.
Fridge freezer.
Would you find this item in a supermarket?
I'd say you'd be safe to say yes.
Bless you.
Even though it's not edible, would anybody put it in their mouth? I'm thinking of a whistle.
This is why we deserve a content award. Thanks. Thanks for everybody watching. It's been 19.
We've got filthy minds.
Ironically, the answer is most probably yeah. I wouldn't advise it, but people tend to, yeah. Cam's doing it now. Right, 2 more questions each. Alan.
Is it bigger than the size of your thumb?
A hell of a follow-up question from Clyde.
I would say, I don't know. I would say when stretched out to its full capacity, yes.
Hang on a minute. You broke me now. I have no idea. Does this item get smaller when it's cold?
Listen very carefully. No, it does not.
Right, can I ask another question? Do you have just one of these items, or do they come in a bag full or a group?
A pair.
It's a solo item, and you could use it as a solo item, or you could use it on both sides. It would depend on your. Most people would use the left and the right, and not just go straight down the middle.
Right.
Or left, Alan, or left. Depends which channel you want to do that.
Yeah. Last question. Is it something you could tie?
Quite often, this item does end up in unexplainable knots, which is really annoying.
I've got it.
Cam, last question.
I think I've got it. Do these items come in a variety of colours?
They can come in a variety of colours and or sizes. Clive.
Would I cause a shock? Right, if I had it in my ear.
Can you say that again? Sorry, you cut out then.
If I had this item in my ear,
Yeah.
or items in my ears, would that cause a shock in polite society?
I think it would depend on the company, I think is the correct answer to that.
I've now ruled out fridge freezer, by the way.
I'm sure you have. Right, I have one question and one question only. What is in Craig's bucket? Alan Wilson, what do you think is in Craig's bucket?
Well, I'm going for a piece of string.
Pam, what's in Craig's bucket?
Earphones, headphones.
Clive, what's in Craig's bucket?
Well, I was going to say earphones, headphones, so I'll go back to something different. I will say a very miniature banjo.
I was going to say shoelaces, but
And this is why it is the final game ever of What's in Craig's bucket, because
Cam wins.
it's headphones and Cam wins.
Nobody
well done, Cam.
So, well done,
Okay,
Cam.
can I just say I knew right
Craig's
from the
bucket.
start what it was. The question I asked about fridge freezers was a red herring. I knew what it was, but I also knew if I got it right, you'd find some way of disqualifying me.
I think that is that's scandalous.
Ben Swain had come marching across the screen like Bully, and go, and that'd be it.
He can only take points off you in podcast predictions. He can't take points off you in any other area. So there you go. Right, I hope, and Bully's special prize, first, second, or third place at the Football Content Awards, very, very much appreciated. Please keep voting. We would love you to do exactly that. Right, no game on Saturday. So the immortal question is obviously, what is everybody going to get up to? Clive, what are you getting up to on Saturday afternoon in the absence of football?
Do you know, I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead.
Alan?
I could be just out with the grandchildren.
Yeah, sounds like a good Saturday afternoon. Cam, what are you going to get up to on Saturday afternoon when there's no football to keep you out of trouble?
Probably.
And nobody cares. Thank you very much for watching Mansfield Matters. Time to press this button. That's all we've got time for on tonight's Mansfield Matters podcast. My thanks as ever for the podcast panel for joining me, and to you guys at home for watching and for listening. A reminder that there's no game this weekend, so no point plugging podcast predictions, although if you want to get them in early for the Luton game, feel free. Links in the description. I'll tell you what else is in the description as well. The link for the Football Content Awards. Oh yeah, vote Mansfield Matters for the best podcast in the Football League category. We need your votes. You've not got long left, so keep voting. Make it a daily occurrence. Vote Mansfield Matters. Tell a friend all about it. Why? Well, because you get great analogies, like the book analogy. You get great banter, like you've probably heard tonight. And you get great games, like the classic Alan, Where's You Been? Not forgetting What's in Craig's Bucket. Vote Mansfield Matters. Do us all a favour. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Goodbye.
Protect what matters most with Actifier Limited, your trusted local fire safety experts in Nottinghamshire. Proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast. From fire extinguishers and alarms to emergency lighting, pat testing and risk assessments, they've got everything you need for your business to stay safe. Affordable, reliable, professional. Because when it comes to fire protection, there's no room for compromise. Call Actifier Limited today or visit actifier.co.uk. Be ready, be safe, act now. Actifier Limited, proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast.